Morning all. All right, so I'm wearing my Humboldt jersey today, one of my Humboldt jerseys. Of course, it's the 6th anniversary today of the Humboldt bus accident. So my thoughts, condolences to those who might be having a struggle today. And if you're having a struggle for any other reason in your personal life right now, you're not on your own. There are other people going through that. And always tell people when you're going through that kind of thing, because you don't tell people and then something happens, just upsetting everybody. So tell people. So today could be a tough day for some people, wherever you're at. All right. So that being said, we will move along to the National Hockey League news side of things. Last night, the Arizona Coyotes tied their own. Well, they scored the most goals over the shortest period in the third period in a long time. So it's 6 goals in 9 minutes and 4 seconds, the fastest the one team had scored in the third since, and they gave the date. And so I went and looked at October 30th, 1988, because it didn't say who did it. And so I found who did it. It was the Winnipeg Jets. So the original Jets scored 6 against the LA Kings in the third period. 6 goals over an 8-minute and 14-second span. So it was not as fast as that one, but it's the same franchise record. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, the Coyotes didn't have a good season in 88-89, but they won that game 8-4. And last night's game, they won 7-4. So just an interesting note there, and I figured I would add that and throw that at the top of the board. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who are playing in about 20 minutes' time here. Tanner Jeannot, upper body injury, won't be playing. Cirelli, it's an undisclosed injury. He's not going to be playing today for them either. Hagel, there was some debate about whether or not he was going to play. He will be in the lineup against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So for the Tampa Bay Lightning, depth gets tested a little bit anyways, although this is something that Tampa Bay is kind of used to, and they have one of the better AHL systems in the National Hockey League in that they train players up. When they come into the lineup, they kind of just fit in seamlessly. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, Greaves is going to be starting today against the Flyers, which doesn't change my prediction for that game. Tarasov, dealing with an upper body injury. I'm going to guess a concussion. But he's still undergoing testing. So we'll get a better idea for how long Tarasov's going to be out. I would be very surprised if he comes back before the season's done if he's still undergoing testing. That would honestly be a surprise to me. Injury news with the Montreal Canadiens. Caden Gooley, Arbor Jackeye, both going to be out of the lineup. It's an upper body injury for both of them, and so the Toronto Maple Leafs will be dealing with a Montreal team that's got a bit of a weakened blue line. They've called up Justin Barron, though, and Barron's been impressive at times during his call-ups with Montreal, and the Habs, a team that are not unfamiliar with having injuries on their blue line this year either. Nashville's in an interesting position. They can clinch tonight, so they're the only team that can clinch playoffs today. They have to win. It doesn't matter how. The Wild would have to lose in any fashion. Doesn't matter how they're either. And then it has to be a regulation loss for the Blues against San Jose, which sounds far-fetched until you look and go, oh, San Jose's got 2 regulation wins over St. Louis already this season. So if that happens, the Nashville Predators will clinch a playoff spot, and they were 8 points out before U.S. Thanksgiving. So absolutely remarkable turnaround for the Nashville Predators, and we'll see how this looks when we get to the vote for certain awards and who the finalists end up being. Yossi has to be top 3, I would think. Does Saros end up getting a lot of consideration for the Vezina as well? So we'll see how all that voting goes, but Nashville could clinch today. It does require 3 different results to happen, but they could happen, is the point. So the playoffs start 2 weeks from today. I am very happy about that. I think these playoffs are going to be absolutely fantastic. And none of the 8 matchups are set. So very often during the season, there's a matchup that we know is going to happen from like January 15th on. We're like, well, clearly these teams are on a collision course. This year has not been like that, and I'm happy about that. I think that's great. It does mean that there's more reason for us to watch the games late in the season, and it's kind of fun to see the race in the East going the way that it's going. I've seen people talking about, wow, it looks like nobody wants it in the East. It is not as bad in the East as it was last year in the West, where you had Winnipeg, Nashville, and Calgary. all deciding none of us are going to win. Like, it was baffling down the stretch last year that none of them seemed to want that final spot, and then Winnipeg did get that final spot and then went out in 5 against Vegas. But the East is not that bad at this point. We'll see if it ends up getting there. There's too many teams in the mix for it to really and truly be like boring in a turtle derby or anything like that. But it does sort of have that sort of feeling. It's starting to lean in that direction. We'll see how it goes. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.